Charles Kehrli from the Yale Club. One of the things that we've gotten quite a few requests for is a recipe for our popovers at the club. Even though it's a very simple, basic recipe, what really is involved here is technique more than anything else. A couple of tips prior to starting. You want to make sure your batter isn't too cold. So, we usually kind of have the milk, 1.5 cups of milk at about 125 degrees. And you can warm that lightly in the microwave, right? And if you want to test that, your body temperature is 98, right? So just if it feels warm to the touch, you should be fine. With the eggs, we'll take 4 large eggs, put them under hot tap water, shut it off, and let it sit for like 10 minutes. And that'll kind of temper the egg a little bit as well so that it's not cold. Another thing you want to make sure we do is we're going to preheat our pan. Again, and this is all so that the batter creates internal steam as quickly as possible in order for the popover to puff up. So those are kind of a couple key elements to this. When we do put the popovers in the oven, we're going to bake them for 20 minutes at 450 degrees and then cut it back down to 350 degrees for 10 minutes. And this will help kind of crisp it up a little bit and prevent it from kind of deflating on us at the end of when we pull them out of the oven and the steam kind of releases from the popover. Popovers originally were from, it's an American version of Yorkshire pudding, right, from Britain, and it dates back to the 17th century. We've been doing it at the Yale Club for quite a few years, same recipe, handed down from the previous chef, and I'm sure the chef before him as well, and then we've been doing it since then in the club this whole time. So I hope you enjoy the recipe. It's very simple. We'll go through some of the steps, and then hopefully we'll have a successful attempt here at the house. First, we're going to grease our pan, all right? And you can use butter, lard. I happen to save some baking fat from some other stuff we had done. And we're going to just take a little brush and we're just going to kind of coat the pan inside. But you also want to get the edges on top as well. And that'll be critical. And then we'll take this pan and we're going to preheat this in the oven right now while we make our batter. Now we're going to take the 4 tempered eggs that we had before. And we're going to mix this with the milk and mix that until it's blended completely. So we're going to take the tempered eggs, the 1.5 cups of 125 degree milk, and we're going to whisk that together until it's smooth. You want to make sure all the egg is blended with the milk. Pretty straightforward, you can see that. And then we're going to add our flour, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And we're going to mix this in until the lumps are gone. One of the things you want to make sure is that your batter is loose. If your batter's too thick, it won't allow the steam to rise and you'll have a very dense popover as opposed to the big puffed popover that you're looking for. We're going to add once this is all blended, like you can see here, we're going to add our 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Just regular iodized salt. Mix that in. And then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of melted butter. And we're going to whisk that in as well. And as you can see, the batter is pretty thin, right? It's not a thick, heavy batter at all. So that's the kind of the consistency that we're looking for. If it's too thick, like pancake batter, it's not going to puff up and steam the way you want it to. So then we're going to fill the preheated muffin tins, or if you have a popover tin, even better. Probably 3/4 filled in each area. And then we're gonna pop it in the oven, again at 450 degrees for 20 minutes. So I'm gonna pull the pan out now. And it's gonna be hot, so be careful. And we're gonna ladle this in. You can't hear this, but it's sizzling just a little bit in the fat. And we're going to put this in the oven again. For 20 minutes. So you don't want to open the oven door because the whole idea right now is to create that steam in the muffin. So we're gonna wait for the 20 minutes, then we'll come back on. We'll cut the oven down to 350, take a peek and see how things are going in there. And we've put our popovers in. They've been in for 20 minutes at 450 degrees. We now just switched the oven down to 350 degrees for 10 minutes. But you can kind of take a peek at them now if you want. If they're looking like they're getting a little brown, you may not have to leave them in as long as 10 minutes for the at 350 degrees. So you kind of have to use your judgment. But if by the time the 20 minutes are up, the initial steam process and the puffing has kind of taken place. So you should be okay to kind of take a quick peek in the oven to see how things are. So I think we're pretty close to being ready to pull these out. And if you can see these, we've got a nice puffed up rise on these. Might have been a little dark. So again, that's where you can use your judgment on the second half of this. But you can see that they'll pop right out of the pan. They're nice and puffy. They're a little, and you can leave them in a little longer if you wanted them crisper to hold up, but these have been in here definitely long enough. And what's great about popovers is you can stuff them, put chicken salad in there, scrambled eggs, goat cheese, bacon, and fig jam. There's all kinds of different things you can do with them other than just a traditional popover with butter on it, or use with prime rib or other dishes. So that's our popover recipe from the Yale Club. I hope you enjoy it. Good luck, and I'll hopefully see everybody back at the club very soon. Thank you.